branch of the Wayne County Public Library. Now, you may know that we have a new federal holiday here in the United States, and that is Juneteenth. And so when I saw this cookbook, Watermelon and Red Birds, a cookbook for Juneteenth and Black Celebrations by Nicole A. I knew that I wanted to do a video highlighting one of the recipes that we can find in this cookbook. They all sound really good, but we are specifically going to be making Peach Crumble Bars today. So this is what we ultimately want them to look like. So our Peach Crumble Bars are going to need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. For the crumble topping, our crumble topping also is going to have traditional granulated sugar. It's going to have cinnamon and cloves, butter, flour, and salt. And then our base that we will layer the peaches on top of is going to have a full stick of butter, more brown sugar, more granulated sugar, an egg, vanilla extract, flour, salt, and then of course our peaches. So the first thing we are going to do is heat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're also going to either put cooking spray or line with parchment paper an 8x8-inch square baking pan. And that's so, of course, we don't have anything stick to the bottom or the sides. The next thing I'm going to do is make our crumble topping. And I need to actually melt some butter for that. So I am going to leave you for just a moment, and I'm going to come back with my melted butter, and then we're going to get started on our crumble topping that's going to go on top and make everything so delicious. All right, so to continue with our crumble topping, we are going to, don't want to spill anything. Here is 2 tablespoons of butter that I have melted. We are also going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and granulated sugar. So 2 tablespoons of each to this. 1. This is my brown sugar. Yum. As a kid, I used to just like eat chunks of it, and I'm like, ooh, don't do that. Anywho, and now 2 tablespoons of our white granulated sugar. And let's readjust so you can see what I'm doing. Next, we are going to add some cinnamon and some cloves. So for the cinnamon, we're going to do, now it says a 1/4 teaspoon. I love cinnamon though, so if it's an overflowing 1/4 teaspoon, I'm not going to complain. 1/4 teaspoon, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of cloves or mace. I'm going to use cloves because it's what I've got on hand. We are also going to add a 1/4 cup of flour, and we're going to do that to kind of give it some heft. And so all of these ingredients don't sink down into the bars themselves. And then finally, we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is not the easiest one to pour. There we go. And we're just going to mix this up and then set it aside. So if you've never made streusel topping before, it's going to end up being kind of like these pea-shaped or pea-sized crumbs that we can just kind of sprinkle. What we'll do is we'll sprinkle it on top of our peaches. A little bit pasty. Definitely smells good if you are a cinnamon and cloves fan. So voila. All right. Next, I'm going to grab my large bowl and I am going to add more melted butter. So I am going to pause here so I can go melt a full stick of butter. Obviously not in this bowl because it's metal. So I'm gonna go melt this, and then I will be back and we're gonna make our base. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start on our base layer. So again, the bars go this base layer that's gonna have our flour, then the peaches, and then our crumble topping that we've already made. So our base layer is going to include a full stick of butter that I have melted in this lovely and cute Be True to You mug. And set the mug aside. Next, I am going to need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So we're repeating some of the flavors. Let's get that nice and packed. All right. Now we need a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Grab the flour. Here's our sugar. Voila, 1/2 cup. We also are going to need an egg, which I brought inside of my oven mitt so it wouldn't break on my way to work. All right, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. There's 1, 2. Now we're going to need 1 1/4 cups flour, and I'm just using a regular all-purpose flour. So there's our 1 cup, and then we need a 1/4 cup. And we're going to follow this up with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And, ooh, that's a teaspoon. All right. A little bit of salt to cut the sweetness. Okay, so this is not terribly difficult to make. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to mix this together until it forms a soft, smooth dough. So here's what we look like right now. I'm going to bring back my 8x8 baking pan, and we're just going to spread this along the bottom. You may need to use your hands to make it even, or you can use a spatula. And we're just going to smooth this out across the bottom. Let's see if I can do it without getting too dirty. Nice, that was easy enough. All right, our next step is our peaches. Now I have, as you can tell, canned peaches. Of course, fresh peaches are the best, but we are in Ohio, so it is not quite yet time for fresh peaches. So canned or frozen will do. If you are using frozen, just defrost them ahead of time and drain off any of that extra liquid. All right, and speaking of, I am going to drain these. I'm going to use the bowl that's already dirty. And we're going to take these peach slices and lay them on top of this dough in even rows. The author of this cookbook and thus this recipe, Nicole Taylor, who wrote our Watermelons and Redbirds book that I got this recipe from, she actually says that you can use other fruits as well if it isn't peach season or maybe you're not a huge peach fan. She actually suggests strawberries, blueberries, or even blackberries. And again, you could use fresh, or you could use canned or frozen. And I'm going to use the little pieces to just kind of fill in where there might be gaps. Okay, that is our full can. The next thing I am going to do is sprinkle our crumb topping. I'm actually going to use my fingers. This is our streusel, and we are just going to spread this out right over top. All right, so once this is all ready to go into the oven, we are going to bake for 30 to 35 minutes, and that's at 350 degrees. So earlier you may have heard my oven ding, indicating we are preheated. Alrighty. So it appears we are ready to put this in the oven, again, 30 to 35 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean, and then the edges are going to be golden and the crumble is going to be lightly browned. So I will be back to show you our beautiful Juneteenth dessert in 30 to 35 minutes. So I just pulled this out of the oven and you cannot imagine how good it smells. The cloves and the cinnamon are really coming through and I can't wait to eat it. But our recipe, which comes to us from this cookbook right over here, actually suggests that I have to wait 10 minutes to let everything cool off. But after that 10 minutes, you are free to eat it. Of course, if you aren't able to eat this entire gorgeous pan of peach crumble, immediately store it either in an airtight container or covered in plastic at room temperature for up to 3 days. And yeah, so if you make this recipe, let us know how it turned out. I cannot wait to share this with my colleagues. Thank you for joining me for this month's Library Kitchen.